Becky. I am back with another process video. Today I am going to be using scraps for my layout. Right here I am going through my scrap bin trying to figure out what I might want to use. I'm using this aqua colored cardstock that was not in my scrap bin. So I just pulled it out of my stash. I'm putting gesso on it because I wanted to do some mixed media. And when I first started spreading it, I was just spreading it with the knife, and then I found some old paper and I used that, and there was lines in it. I didn't care for that, so I just went ahead and started using my fingers. I'm going to use some Faber-Castell watercolors on this. I've had these probably for about a year, and I've only used them a few times, so I thought I should get them out because I didn't want them to be a waste of money. So I used this pink. It's kind of a pinky purple. I use yellow and kind of a darker pink. And I am just gonna lay down the watercolor, and I will end up splattering it a little bit across the page just to get some more color in it. Here I'm going to go in with the yellow. Now I don't know what happens. This is really the only way I know how to use them. I need to play with them more. I don't know what happens if you actually, touch the tip of the pencil to the page. I don't know if you can actually draw with them. I'm not really sure. Maybe I should look up some YouTube videos about how to use these. I had gotten these, I think there was a sale, and I think I had gotten them 50% off. So I was like, oh, I'll try those. So I did. And still don't really know how to use them very well. But as with everything, I guess you just need to practice. So here's where it started splattering across the page, and I thought, oh, that looks so cool. And so I started intentionally trying to, because down at the bottom it wasn't on purpose. And so then up at the top I started doing it on purpose. And I like how the splatters were kind of like coming in at an angle. They weren't like splattered from the top, obviously. They're splattered from the sides, so they're neat. I liked that effect. So I'm going to put that aside to dry. There are some scraps I pulled out. I wasn't sure what I was going to do at this point, so I had just pulled a few out. I do end up backing this picture on that Fancy Pants corrugated paper. Those are the thickers I'm going to use for part of my title. They are rain boots. These are kind of hard to use. I like them. They look patent leather. I like the way they shine, but like look at that L. The L is really funny looking to me. But I end up using them. They look nice, but they are hard to align. So here's where I go ahead and back that photo, and then I trim it down. I just had a paintbrush out. I used hot glue, and it was on the picture, so I was using the paintbrush to kind of brush it away. So I get my background out and try to figure out where I want to put the picture at. I am going to trim down the sides of that background. I think maybe 1/8 of an inch on each side is what I end up trimming down. And I'm going to back it on black cardstock. And of course, I can never get that straight when I try and back it, so it ends up crooked. And I was going to try and trim it down to make it look straight, and I was just like, forget it. And it just ends up being crooked. That's fine. So I backed that picture again with a hot pink. That hot pink is a cardstock that was in my scrap bin as well. And here I am putting it down crooked. Now the picture I'm going to scrap today, you can see it sitting over to the right. It is a picture of me and one of my sisters. This is Susie. And we were at lunch. We had all went to Asheville to see our dad. He was sick. He didn't end up passing away. So we had all went to Asheville to see our dad, and me and 3 of my sisters went out to lunch. Now my sister Debbie was sitting across the table from us, and she's the one that snapped this picture. And my title is Laugh Till You Pee. So on this particular day, when we went out to lunch, my sisters were acting like crazy fools, and they were so funny, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed for the entire, well, not the entire day, but you know, for a few hours when we were hanging out together. And they literally made me laugh so hard I peed. And then they wouldn't take me back to the hotel so I could change, because we had just pulled up at the restaurant where we were going to go in and eat pizza. And I'm like, you guys, I have to go back to the hotel and change. You guys made me laugh too much, you know? And they refused to take me back to the hotel to change. So I had to have lunch after I peed my pants because they were making me laugh. So it was really embarrassing and really hard. And I was like, you can tell, can't you? And my sister Debbie's like, only the part where you can see it. So it was horrible. It was embarrassing. And the thing I was laughing about right there is, I think Susie was giving me a hard time about it, and I told her something like, yeah, well, I rubbed my butt across the seat before you got in, or something like that. And I was like, you're sitting in it. And it was really embarrassing. But it's an embarrassing story to put down, but it was so funny. We had a good day that day. After we did that, we ended up going shopping and stuff, and I did eventually get back to the hotel and was able to shower and change my clothes. So they are kind of brats, and I'm the youngest, so kind of I get tortured a little bit when it comes to them. So I ended up putting down the title. The laugh was the Rain Boots stickers, as I mentioned. Till You was Studio Calico stickers, and the P is a gold Lindsay font. I put those tags down. The back tag is an Amy Tan. It was in that scrap bucket. The smile one, don't know where that came from, and I don't know where that acetate camera came from either. They were just laying around. And then I put a brad, I don't know if I've done it yet. I put a brad through the top of the tags. That is a piece of scrap paper that was in my bin, and I just wrote my journaling on it. I end up trimming it down and backing it. Oh, here I go, sticking it down. Sorry. Anyways, I end up backing that journaling with that pink striped paper you see over to the left. That is Bella Boulevard's, and I think it's a strand. That was also in my scrap bin. So I just pulled out that secret weapons, Stamper secret weapons pad, or whatever it's called, and punched it and put the brad through. That washi tape was just some tape I had laying on my desk. So I'm going to use a glue dot. That camera keeps moving because I just put a staple in it. I use a glue dot under the black part of the camera, and then I end up putting the tag on foam tape. So here I am, but just backing that. It was kind of blending in a little bit to that background, and I just wanted it to stand out a little bit more. Now, all these pinks don't match. They're all very different shades and very different tones. So this layout is not matchy-matchy at all. It is mostly pink and black, and there are some greens in there or teals in there. And it is not matchy-matchy, but I like it. I wanted to, this took me a while to do. I've had it laying on my table for a while. Couldn't decide how I wanted to scrap this picture because I thought it was so funny, and I really wanted it to be a fun layout. And it turned out pretty fun, but it did take me a while. And then I thought, well, you know, even if it's not perfect, I can always reprint the picture and scrap it again. If I think of a different way I'd rather, you know, tell this story, then I always can. It's not one time and then that's it. So I'm ripping off strips of the black. That black was in my scrap bin, and I'm not sure what that paper is. And then I ripped off a strip of the pink, and I'm going to put those along the side. You can see down at the bottom I adhered that journaling spot, I believe, and I'm just talking about how we went to lunch and they were making me laugh, and I ended up peeing on myself, and they wouldn't take me back to the hotel so I could change my pants, and they are brats, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down to the side, those strips of paper. I am thinking about adding another strip, so I just ripped another piece of black. It doesn't end up making it there. I'm looking through all this stuff on the side of my desk. These are things I just haven't put away. So I do that a lot. If there's stuff laying on my desk, I'll just use it. I really need to clean off my desk because all this stuff is closing in into my working space and getting in the way. So I did pick out 2 of those stickers. I used Best Friends and Beautiful You, and then I pulled out a little heart. I put it right there. That does not stay there though. That is the top of a Project Life card. It was a scrap that was just laying on my desk as well. It says, "This is life." That was a branding strip off of an Elle Studio Thankful paper, and the piece I cut out says "Together." I thought I might use those sequins, and I don't end up doing that. That is a piece of an Amy Tan cut apart with the camera on it. It was in my scrap bin. I just said bend. That's funny. That is a frame from a Heidi Swap pack, and I end up cutting it down and putting it there. And the Heidi Swap pack was also just laying on my desk. I have 2 more frames to use out of that, and then I can celebrate with an empty package. Yay! My favorite thing. Okay, not my favorite thing. One of my favorite things though. So I went ahead and stuck that frame down with some Scotch Quick Dry. I'm not really sure if that has a sticky back on it or not. I tried to peel it and nothing happened. So I moved that heart that I pulled off that Bella Boulevard's Little Bit sticker underneath. I moved it underneath that camera. So I'm going to fussy cut this Amy Tan camera out. I end up putting an asterisk from the Lindsay thicker sheet that I used for the word P. I put that asterisk in the middle of the camera, and I'm going to pop it up on foam tape, and I'm going to put it back up in that top right. It's cute. I like that camera. It's kind of sketchy. I'm not sure which line it's from because it was in my scrap bin, like I said. These are Simple Stories DIY photo stickers, and I pulled out one that says "ha ha ha" and put it on that picture. These are Mombi chips in red and pink. I don't end up using any of those. Those have been hard for me to use. I've got the red ones, and then I also got the light blue ones, and the light blue ones I'm almost done with. These are watercolor stickers that came from one of the Click kits. Can't remember which one, maybe September 2015. I don't know. It's a couple of videos back. I pull out the love and a bunch of black hearts. I wanted to put something in that lower right corner because I didn't feel like I had enough black. Well, there was no black down there, but then there's a diagonal line going from the top to the bottom of black, and then that bottom right had nothing. So I put the love down there and a heart, and then I sprinkled some other hearts around. So I'm going to look through and see if there's anything else I want to put on there. And I do not find anything. I end up putting down some black Heidi Swap Color Shine, crossing my fingers, hoping it dries. And that's going to wrap up this layout. So thank you so much for joining me. Bye.